Man, people in the 30s can smoke anywhere they want. I want to live in the 30s. Please. Greetings my beautiful geekies, this is my review for Cafe Society, directed and written by Woody Allen, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, Steve Carell, Blake Lively, and Corey Stoll. This movie is set in the 1930s, and a young guy, played by Jesse Eisenberg, from the Bronx moves to Hollywood and starts working for his uncle who works in the industry. There he falls in love with this girl, played by Kristen Stewart, who works also for his uncle, and then, a few years later, after some spoilerish things happen, he moves back to New York and is swept up in the world of high society nightclub life. If you guys don't know, and you probably don't because I have never reviewed a Woody Allen movie, I'm not a big fan of this guy. I have seen many of his movies because I always heard how such a great director he was. But he never really got to me. I only like one movie of his, but I do love that movie a lot, and that is Midnight in Paris. Cafe Society might be another movie of his I really like. I'm going to start with the pros and with the thing that I like the most about this movie, and that is the direction. He has really fluid camera movements. He always has these spanning shots and moves the camera around the set and the rooms he's in. And he did something very interesting with light, because he played a lot with bright lights and very little shadow on the screen. And he brings you up these awesome color lights to fill up the characters and the scenery around them, and it was really good for storytelling purposes. I also really like the difference of the way he worked with the camera and again the lights when Jesse Eisenberg was in Los Angeles and when he moved back to New York and started being this very important person and running a club in New York of his own. And speaking of Jesse Eisenberg, he was really good in this movie. I've always loved this actor, and say what you will about his performance in Batman v Superman. I know I'm in the minority that I liked him, but this guy is always doing something different. For a while, yes, he did something always the same in the beginning of his career, but now he's always so different and he brings something to the role. He's a very charismatic actor and he's always trying something new, and I like his character a lot. I do think that in the second half of this movie, he starts retreating a little bit, but without spoiling anything, that's really a part of the story and what makes these characters so interesting. He's a Jewish guy, he comes from a Jewish family, he has a lot of brothers and sisters, he comes from a big family. And Corey Stoll is his older brother, and let's just say the guy is an enforcer, alright? He's the guy who puts Jesse Eisenberg in an important position. And I really like Corey Stoll's character in the movie. However, I just wish I could have seen a little bit more for him, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Kristen Stewart is another actress I have always defended and always thought she was really good, except for Twilight, of course. And while I can say she was good in the movie and I liked her and her character, I can see that she's kind of doing something that I've seen before and not something very innovative. Whenever she's in a scene with Jesse Eisenberg, I think that's just her character, that she's just very monotonous. I like the contrast there, and that's why I liked her performance. But along with Jesse Eisenberg, the shining star of this movie for me was Steve Carell. He is so good. This guy I've always liked as well, but ever since Foxcatcher, he did something there. He clicked that he could do something else. And here, while yes, he's kind of playing another character in a comedy movie, he brings something. This is one of those roles that when you see Steve Carell on the screen in this movie, you tell yourself that no other actor could have been there besides Steve Carell, and that's the best compliment I can pay to his performance. Okay, this movie sounds awesome, right? Lots of great characters, great actors doing great performances, and great direction. But the problems, and there are a lot of them, come from the script. Imagine this movie as a three-part story in which they show you the first part, the third part, but they leave the second part out. That is my main problem with this movie. Because Jesse Eisenberg moves to LA, starts working for his uncle, he starts moving up on the company, and then one moment in the movie comes and he decides to move back to New York, which you understand. This is not about motivation. You understand why he wants to go back to New York and needs to go back to New York without spoiling anything. There just needed to be a little bit more there, because he goes through something, and that something is not very much focused on. He runs away, and the movie feels like it's running away too. You don't have the moment where he packs his bags and moves on. You don't have the moment where he deals thoroughly with what just happened to him in LA, making him moving back to New York. And there are many characters, as I told you, in this movie, and their characters almost feel hollow at points. As you watch this movie and you come to the end, you finally see what this is about, and that made me watch this movie again before reviewing it. And after watching it again, it's a very different experience. When you first watch this movie, it's a comedy with drama elements. But as you watch it a second time, it is almost a very depressing movie with the message it's trying to give you by the end of it, and when you realize what this is truly about. I don't want to say what Blake Lively plays in this movie, but she's a very important character for the story as a whole. She basically is the gear that puts the second half of this movie in motion. And although it's a very quickly paced movie and it's only 1 hour and a half, the story kind of feels like it's missing something. And Woody Allen's narration is really good and really contributes to the movie, but at times it seems like he was brushing off scenes and aspects of the movie because they didn't have time to put them on screen in scenes. And it almost feels like at times they drop out of exploring characters that they were going into exploring, and it's just, again, the last 20 minutes of this movie will kind of make you feel like it's contradicting itself from what it was telling you so far. But as you watch this movie again like I did, which is something I recommend, it really brings the movie to a whole piece. It is a movie that you definitely will enjoy for its characters and for the meaning of the story that it is telling you. It's a very real movie. It feels real. Nothing feels Hollywoodized, despite the fact that it is set in Hollywood partially. It's got really great direction, great camera work, great characters, all around great performances amongst other actors that I didn't tell you were in this movie. There are aspects that seem to be brushed off, but the movie still works. And if you watch it 2 times in a row, it will make you feel like you're watching 2 completely different movies telling the same story, but I mean that in the best way possible. It is a movie that watching twice truly completes itself. I cannot say this is a great movie, however, for a guy who doesn't enjoy Woody Allen at all, I can say I really like this movie and I would repeat watching it. And I will say that Cafe Society is a martini because it is a good time anytime. But what did you think of Cafe Society, my beautiful geekies? Are you a fan of Woody Allen? Are you not? What is your favorite movie of his? Let me know in the comments below, and also send me your questions for my hashtag Max7Q&A. The hashtag is in the description. All you need to do is hashtag, leave your questions about anything and as many questions as you want, and you might win something on that Q&A video. Also, if you don't know, you can stalk me on the internet through my Facebook, Instagram, and my vlog channel. I'm always telling you guys what I am up to through those pages, so go ahead. And if you are new to this channel and you enjoy this review, give it a like, send it to your friends, and of course, subscribe and join the beautiful geeky community, where it can be geeky united. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. I love you all. You guys are beautiful, and stay beautiful. Stay geeky. Cheers!